The Scole Experiment, 1 out of 4 full documentary. Ladies and gentlemen, you recommended, someone in the chat, recommended I react to The Scole Experiment. I, just by looking at UFO TV and that kind of stuff, I'm already like, what are we looking at here? So, please, if you're interested in these kind of reactions, you like this one, make sure you subscribe, like the video, drop a comment on your thoughts about this. You're checking out a skeptical channel. Like, I am very paranormal, UFO kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong. I think there's life in the universe, but them here playing with us, I'm skeptical. And of course, evidence can overturn that for me. But let's see what the Scole Experiment is. I don't want to waste much time. Let's see what happens.
In the mid-1990s, in the tiny English village of Scole, one of the most remarkable experiments ever attempted in communication with the dead took place in the cellar of this house.
Communication with the dead. Already, okay.
The Scole Experimental Group who conducted these experiments consisted of Diana and Alan Bennett, two of Britain's most accomplished mediums, as well as organisers and investigators Robin and Sandra Foy.
Hi, hello there.
Nice to see you.
For 5 years, twice a week, the group would meet in this tiny cellar. Here the Bennetts would go into trance, allowing what they say were the voices of the dead to speak through them.
Yes, we hear you.
Hello. Come on, friend.
Come on, friend.
We can hear you starting.
But the Scole Group went...
So hold on, the dead were speaking through them. So they're kind of like the medium between the dead and the living.
far beyond this, achieving spectacular results in a claimed form of spirit communication known as physical mediumship.
There's a wide range of phenomena that physical mediumship over the centuries has been supposedly able to produce. Objects levitating, chairs, tables, objects in the room. Apports and teleportation, in other words, things just dropping out of nowhere. Sometimes things disappearing and reappearing. Apparent spirit hands, apparent spirit forms.
It's a simulation.
Things that people can see happening. There's an effect on real objective things based on supposedly the communication or contact between a medium and the spirit world. The spirits are using...
Dude, it just sounds like magic tricks to me, personally. Like, it just seems like there's some connery, some slippery going on in it, but at the same time, they're probably taking advantage of the human superstition that humans want to believe in some nonsense and stuff, or believe that it's true. I don't want to say nonsense because I know that when we're dealing with our loved ones who have died, many people want to communicate with them or whatever, but this just seems like hocus pocus stuff.
In the medium as a conduit to cause these events to happen.
Physical mediumship is entirely different from mental mediumship because everybody that's present at the time can witness what's happening. Such as if a voice comes from mid-air, everybody can hear and converse with the voice.
Very nice of you to have us here.
If a spirit person manifests, everybody can see what happens.
I think it's fair to say that when you have sittings with physical groups as successful as the Scole Group, you see miracles. You see things which cannot be explained under normal laws of science.
Are they doing this in like a controlled room, a controlled setting, or is this like possibly a room rigged to have things set up where people can see and experiment things, but you have no way of knowing what's going on behind the walls, or, you know, what kind of tricks they might be pulling that make you think, oh my God, I just saw a miracle. There's no other way to explain it. These are all brick walls. There can't be anything behind it. I mean, how do you know? But like, really, what kind of controlled setting have they had that has been able to show and give really good definitive scientific proof that this is the case?
Trying to communicate with the dead has been a lifelong passion for Robin and Sandra Foy. Today, they are among the world's leading experts in physical mediumship.
What happened here during the Scole Experiment was very successful and a dramatic effort which proved conclusively to us that life goes on after we all die.
So the whole goal for them is to show that life goes on after death. Man, I could see this being like a go-to for like Christians who argue against guys like me or want to dismiss people like me who are skeptical of all this. And they're like, debunk this, then disprove that, you know. What about near-death experiences? What about this and that? And it's like, oh my God. We have our work cut out for us because people want to believe. It's not like they sincerely want to question this stuff unless it was Muhammad that approached them in a dream or Vishnu. Oh, okay, well, we're skeptical of that. But Jesus, nah. It's just really, really odd, the kind of position we're in. By the way, this is way too long. Hour, 28-minute. This is just one part of 4 parts. I'm only going to go for a little bit here and hear some of the stuff they have to say, but give you my thoughts at the end.
Diana and Alan Bennett have also participated in physical mediumship for decades. They joined the Scole Experiment in 1993. But both claim their astonishing abilities began long before this.
My first discovery of being a medium was when I was a child. I used to see spirit. I used to hear things and be aware of things that other people weren't aware.
When I was young, I saw spirits that would come and show themselves to me.
When people say spirits, I've had experiences when I was young, believing that it was God or spirits or even demons at one point, but that's a whole nother story. Drugs were involved in that one. But what do they mean? And what did they experience? Like, what kind of phenomena did their mind produce? Or did they make an illusion thinking the illusion was real? Or was it a dream? Or were they asleep but awake in some way in kind of some dazed off phase? Like, how do we know spirits approach these people?
I think the greatest effort come from the spirit side. I mean, without them, you can sit there and nothing will happen.
But a great deal did happen, more in fact than any other mediumship experiment ever conducted. And according...
So if you debunk this one, you've practically like slammed all of them practically into, you know, if this is the most, you know, profound experience of the mediums, and this has been like clearly questioned pretty thoroughly and good reason to doubt all this stuff, then you have nothing really, like, it's like hitting the head of the serpent here.
To the Scole Group, this success was due to the efforts of a group of deceased personalities on the other side. They called this group the Spirit Team.
A Spirit Team was a team of spirit personalities who had lived a life on this earth. Several of them had been scientists whilst they were here.
How old? I mean, what, like within the past few hundred years? I mean...
The Scole Group say instructions...
Everything is so vague and just general and like, let you decide.
...on how to conduct the experiments were received from the Spirit Team, speaking via the mediums.
If you put your hand into the bowl, please.
Some of the initial experiments involved photography. These began conventionally enough, with the Foys being told to load a film into a camera and place it on the table. But after this, things began to get very strange.
We heard the camera moving round over our heads, clicking and being wound on by spirit.
In total darkness, so that in reality, nothing should have showed up on the film.
In total darkness, like they have no lights whatsoever. So someone could have came in the room. There could have been some, I don't know. I mean, like you have no way to know what. It's total darkness. Okay.
But when the film was developed, there were amazing pictures.
Bro, you got to be kidding me.
Wartime pictures of St. Paul's, of a bus that was blown apart in the Blitz. Quite amazing stuff.
So you're telling me this footage appeared magically on the film that was in the room? Wow. That's unbelievable. There's no way between the camera itself and the film getting to where it's being produced that someone could have possibly slipped in a few photos. Hell no. That's not possible. What had to have happened was that while we were in this completely pitch black room, the camera was making noises and taking pictures because nobody else was in there doing that or making that kind of noise for us, or there was no microphones around somewhere that were emitting such a noise that made it sound like a camera was going off. So now we believe the camera's taking pictures, and now when we go down there to the actual place to get the film, guess what? It has images on it. Because someone else swapped the film out for all we know. I mean, what kind of nonsense?
It was never explained to us exactly why we got these particular pictures, other than the fact that we had a separate photographic spirit team working with us at that stage who were practicing their art and seeing what they could achieve.
So your answer is a second spirit team in the spirit realm was practicing their artistic skills using your camera in the real world. That shit's believable to people? Wow.
Some films contained images of faces, including human faces, in various stages of formation.
There were a series that appeared to represent bubbles and various other things coming together, partial faces, etc. We were told that what we were seeing...
Yeah, because people couldn't do that in the 90s, but he was told we were seeing...
were areas of communication within the spirit world.
The mind is a hell of a drug. Like, the human mind is something else. Reminds me of Michael Shermer's book. If you have not read it, get it on Audible or buy the book. The Believing Brain. Holy moly, you gotta read that book.
The Scole Group believed these faces were images of deceased people, which were somehow projected from the other side. To them...
What do you say to that?
This theory was confirmed with the appearance on another Scole film of this blurry profile.
Hold on, so you just went from, like, really blurry, right? You went even more blurry. So here we go.
To them,
this is super blurry. So you blurred this.
This theory was confirmed with the appearance on another Scole film of this blurry profile.
So that's the blurry. So you from blur to somewhat blurry, and that is the footage that you got. That blurry image.
Communicators through the mediums informed them that it belonged to a man named Kingsley Fairbridge, who had died in 1924.
So the spirits had to inform them. There's no way that someone who's part of their plan ended up grabbing an old photo, had a blurred version of it, of a side portrait of this guy, and ended up pawning it off as if the spirits are the ones producing it.
We were put in touch in a very obscure way with his daughter, who was happy to agree that that was a picture of her father.
Whoa, holy shit, dude.
In the next experiments, the Scole Group say they were able to create these images not only in total darkness, but without the use of a camera.
We were asked by the spirit team to put a totally unopened Polaroid 35mm film.
You gotta be shitting me, man.
Film, just in its plastic container. If the spirit team felt that they'd achieved a result, we were asked to develop it.
This could be done immediately in a special processing machine.
You've got to be kidding me.
You can imagine our surprise when we brought this film up. They'd never been opened, put it through the processor and viewed it, and there was images and faces and writing.
It's never been opened, and no one ever put it... Like, all of those are assumptions. Those are all claims that have no data, no evidence to prove any of it. It's all take my word, I promise you. Promise you.
How do you explain it was there, you know?
In order to counter accusations that...
Explain it was there. She seems like she's either in on it, or she's just a gullible believer.
They faked these images. The group invited independent investigators to select the films.
I checked the box, which was factory sealed, identifiable by the glue marks.
He then broke the seal, signed the plastic film container, and carried it into the session.
Yeah, because you can't glue boxes. You can't pretend that you're, especially when you're going into this intentionally trying to go, like, pull the wool over people's eyes. There's no way you can make it look like it came out of the factory. Nah. Even the cellophane wrap that you get around a lot of things, like, you can take a lighter, heat it up, and it'll seal up like it's brand new. I mean, it's really easy to do.
Where it remained on the table. But could it have been switched?
I'm 100% certain that the film I selected was the same film that was returned to me at the end of the session.
The film was immediately processed in front.
Yeah, because humans, we don't make shit up. We're also, infallible, if you didn't know that. Eyewitness testimony, as you heard the other day on one of my reaction videos, is the greatest example of evidence, right? Neil deGrasse Tyson, of course, says, hell no.
Of him.
Halfway along the film, we could see a Latin statement.
Reflecting clearly into the earth and into the planets.
The spirit team had said that they'd worked on the film, and lo and behold, there it was.
If this poor dude still believes this shit,
Do I believe in an afterlife? Yes, I do, completely. I had an experience where I met a medium on the street, and she described my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my great-aunt, who have all passed away, their names, the way that they died, and told me that they were all around me and walking with me and never really have left me or never really leave any of us. So, completely believe in that.
Of the remarkable events at Scole reached Italy, where the Scole group travelled to meet one of the world's most unusual mediums. Marcello Bacci amazes visitors and scientific investigators who say they can hear the dead speaking through his old vacuum tube radio.
You're kidding me. If people believe this shit, it's crazy.
Extremely rare form of mediumship is also called direct radio voice, or DRV, and is virtually unknown to the public. With it, experimenters believe that two-way conversations with the dead are possible. But could the Scole group communicate through Bacci's radio?
Manu, are you there? Yes. Hello, Manu.
All right, that's where I draw the line. There's way too much of this to react to. I mean, this is completely ridiculous that people would even buy into this. And, why wouldn't you rule out the most plausible first to realizing, okay, someone's pulling a wool over your eyes, someone's BSing you. This guy's probably getting paid good money for this. I'm just being honest. We all got to make money. All of us got to eat. But when you're making such extraordinary claims and not bringing forth, good control measures so people can know that you're not bullshitting them, I don't believe you. I do not believe any of this Scole Experiment stuff. In fact, it reminds me we do need to react to Darren Brown. I'll look at a little bit more of this, just a little bit more, and let's see what happens. But it's going down that path of just ridiculously.
Thank you, Manu.
After this, scientist Harry Oldfield, a colleague of the Scole group, attempts further communication.
We would like to ask the question of the appearance of your space.
I can't really answer that.
Can you tell something about Scole?
Did I appear to be aware of what you're doing in your practice?
Thank you. Will the work progress?
Certainly.
Thank you. This is what I needed to know.
Yeah, this is such BS, man. I can't keep going, dude. It's so ridiculous. I can't keep going. Look, I really appreciate you recommending this. Maybe we'll do further deep dives if I find that people are interested in really wanting to go through each and every one of these like claims and stuff. We can do that. But right now, this is so silly that it's like, man, people just need some coping mechanism because life is tough and they miss their loved ones. And I get it. And I'm not trying to make mockery of people missing their loved ones or wishing they were there. I find something truly fascinating about cultures in the East, for example, and there's many other places, but they have like an ancestor worship kind of system where they have a shrine in their house to their family, to their father, their mother, their grandfather, grandmother, someone that was very important to them. And in some way, they keep memory of their ancestors around in that kind of tradition. Not in some daddy in the sky kind of thing, but like, I get ancestors, right? I get why humans would evolve and have ancestor worship, or in some way they deify their ancestors. I get that. But a lot of this stuff is just really, really out there, and it's sad that there's not really any way to falsify this for some of these believers, because they're probably never going to do this in a real controlled setting under actual observations where they can make sure that no fiddling around is happening. And there's obviously fiddling happening here. I can almost guarantee 99.9% of all the others that I've ever looked at, they have fiddling. But Derek, you haven't checked all of them. I know, I haven't. If you enjoy these reactions, please subscribe, hit that bell, and say all so you get notified every time we react. Like the video. Tell me what your thoughts are about the Scole Experiment. This is only one of 4. All of my videos, I tend to put the link for the original videos in the description in case you want to watch this further and see how funny this is. It's pretty silly. But yeah, thank you so much for this part of my journey, being part of this community and showing up. I appreciate it. And until next time, see you then.